Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you've become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session. Have you ever experienced rage? It's like you have this aerial view of yourself, and it feels like it's a train going 100 miles an hour, and you just cannot stop yourself, your words or your actions. You're saying and doing hurtful things that are damaging to the people around you. You feel completely out of control. And it's like you have this aerial view of yourself. You know what you're doing is wrong. It's sinful, it's destructive, and you just cannot stop yourself. If you relate to this description, this episode is for you. We will talk about anger, normal anger, righteous anger, just anger versus rage, and at what point does anger become sinful? If you're new to this podcast, I just want to say welcome. I am so glad that you are here. This is a very sensitive topic. This is not a topic that Christians like to talk about. There is so much shame that comes with feeling angry and experiencing rage. And just about every mom out there does feel anger towards her children at some point or another. And we feel so much shame that we're doing something wrong when we feel angry. Especially in our culture, anger in males seemed okay. It's okay when a guy blows up and yells at others around them. Like, it's not really looked down upon as much in our society. Versus when a female does the same thing, like, people really judge and look down upon, especially if you see like a mom at the park feeling really frustrated and angry with her kiddo and smacks their butt and just grabs their hand so roughly. People are very judgmental. And I can see why, because women, like God wants us to be tender and kind and loving. And especially moms, God designed us to be more motherly and just having that motherly instinct and be soft with our kids. And when we're feeling angry, we are struggling and there's something underneath that. So let's talk about what's the difference between anger and rage. And just a side note, if you experience a lot of anger on a regular basis and you want to do something differently, and one of the things that you experience after you have an anger episode is the shame that consumes you, the negative self-talk, the negative thoughts from the enemy that you're the worst mom in the world, that you are never going to change, you're messing your kids for life, and you're just sitting in that shame and remorse, and you just don't know how to get past that. I have a really good training for you that is going to be really game-changing. You can go to endmomshame.com, or if you scroll down in the show notes, there's a step 1, the next step section, and there's step 1 is to listen to the free training. And you just sign up and you will get it delivered to your email, and you can watch the free training, which is going to help you understand kind of a little bit why you felt angry in the first place. And we'll talk about that here. And how do you process those angry emotions and understand why you felt angry and what you can do moving forward instead of sitting there and just feeling all this remorse and guilt, because guilt can be good. And we talk about in that training between guilt, shame, and destructive guilt, and then convicting guilt, right? Because God convicts us, the enemy shames us. And so that is a really powerful training. I would highly recommend for you to listen if this is something that you deal with on a regular basis and you want to do things differently moving forward. So anger. Anger is a normal human emotion. We all feel it almost on a regular basis. God created us with this emotion. And anger can be destructive and it can become sinful, but not all anger is sinful from what I understand, because the Bible tells us in Ephesians 4:26, be angry and do not sin. Be angry and do not sin, which means feel angry and do not sin. It is normal to feel anger. The trick with that, especially as believers and Christians, is to learn how to manage it in a healthy way, process it and release it in a healthy way so it's not destructive and you're not taking it out on your family. There are different reasons why people feel angry and many, many different roots of anger. Anger is a hard emotion. And it's really hard to make good choices when you feel angry. And the reason is because the thinking part of the brain, right behind your forehead, that's where the thinking part of the brain is, where you can make logical choices, think clearly, problem solve, respond. That part of the brain gets shut off when you feel angry, when you feel triggered. And you shift to the emotional part of the brain, which is in the center. And when you are in that part of the brain, you don't think clearly. You over-exaggerate. You only see your perspective. Your tone changes. It's more rude, disrespectful, and you are acting on your emotions instead of logically making good choices. And so that is why it is hard to make good choices when you feel angry, because the thinking brain is offline. And anger, most of us grew up in homes where it did not get modeled how to deal with anger well. Like, we did not see our parents handle anger in a healthy way. We either saw our parents take anger out on others, our parent, their spouse, or us as children, in unhealthy, destructive ways by screaming, yelling, throwing things. Like, there's 3 unhealthy ways to deal with anger. It's taking it out on others, saying a lot of hurtful, damaging things, suppressing it, kind of like turning it on yourself. And a lot of negative self-talk comes out of that. Maybe if anger was not allowed in your family of origin, those people tend to suppress anger and turn into a lot of negative self-talk, which oftentimes leads to a lot of anxiety and depression and just a lot of negativity. Or the other way that people deal with anger and just in general uncomfortable, hard emotions is by numbing it, by drinking, by eating lots of sweets and carbs and just unhealthy eating, scrolling on our phone, watching TV, shopping, drugs. Some people do drugs, but drinking is a big thing actually in Christian communities. A lot of moms drink. Even if you hear like a mom say like, oh yeah, like I can't wait till my kids go to bed so I can have some wine. And they use it as a coping technique or as a coping skill because emotions feel so hard and uncomfortable. So that is something to keep in mind. Numbing emotions it's not a sustainable way to deal with emotions because eventually they're still going to come out, and it's going to affect your mental, emotional, physical well-being. And like drinking is not a sustainable way to like just be in life as a mom. I don't want my kids to remember me as a mom who drank. And I grew up in a very conservative Christian community, and my parents never drank. I did have some drinks like as an adult already after I had kids. I have never been drunk in my life, and I never used alcohol as a coping mechanism where I would just drink just to cope with stress or a hard day. I would use it sometimes to like a social drinking when I would go out with a friend. I would have, a cup here and there, or I would have a glass of sweet wine when I'm taking a bath. But I just never really liked how I felt afterwards. And actually, since I decided on my 35th birthday, like this year, I'm like, I'm just going to decide to stop drinking. Like, it's not like when I drink, I don't really feel good. And there's no benefits of drinking. And then when I started in the summertime working on my gut issues with a specialist, like one of the things you needed to do is stop any alcohol, which wasn't an issue for me. But it's just like, I just don't do it. And thankfully, I never used it as a coping mechanism. And so many Christian women do. And I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to put you down. I'm here to question you, for you to question yourself. Is this how you want to keep coping for the rest of your life? Because there's always going to be stress in your life. If it's not the little kids and potty training and all their needs, it's going to be something else down the road. You need to learn how to manage stress in a healthy way and deal with uncomfortable, hard emotions in a healthy way. And we work a lot on that in my coaching program. I teach you how to do that so you're not taking it out on others, so you're not suppressing anger and uncomfortable emotions, and so you're not numbing it. And I teach you healthy ways how to do that. One thing to know about anger is a messenger. It is telling you something, that something is going on underneath it. Have you ever seen this iceberg analogy where it's like iceberg and a picture of an iceberg, and on top it says anger, and then underwater it has all these other things that are going on underneath, unprocessed emotions, feeling hungry, feeling tired, unresolved conflict with your spouse, and then you're taking the anger out on others, trying to control things that are out of your control, a messy house. There's so many things that are underneath your anger. And when we work together in my coaching program, we work on all of those things and we address them all, because it's not just a one thing that you're going to do that's going to make all the shifts for you. Oftentimes when moms join my program, they have a lot of things going on. It's not just the one thing. When you feel anger, before you get really escalated, because there's different levels of anger. There is feeling annoyed, there's feeling frustrated, then there's feeling angry, and then there's rage. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Rage is when you're completely out of control. Your goal is to recognize when you're getting escalated. I have an episode on that. It's episode 208, Warning Signs That You're Going to Blow Up Soon. And we talk about how to recognize that you are getting escalated and that you are starting to feel really upset and angry. Anger is a messenger. It's telling you something is going on, and your job is to get curious and ask yourself, I wonder why I'm feeling angry. I wonder why this is bothering me so much. Instead of what's wrong with me, what is going on with me that I'm starting to feel escalated and starting to feel frustrated and start feeling angry. When you are still feeling frustrated, annoyed, and early anger stage, you can still shift from anger into your thinking part of the brain. When you're feeling angry, you're in the emotional part of the brain. You can still, in those early stages, able to shift back to the thinking part of the brain with some of the tools that are calming to your nervous system and mindset shifts. We were taught that anger is sin and that all anger is sin. Most of us, especially in conservative Christian communities, were taught that. There is different types of anger. There's normal anger that we all feel on a regular basis, feeling frustrated and upset when things are not going their way. Like anybody, have you ever seen a toddler throw a massive meltdown? I have a 3-year-old right now because they're not getting something their way. They want to go outside and mom can't be outside with them. They want to put on a certain shoe. They want a certain cup. They want more ice cream in their bowl. They thought they were getting this spoon instead of that one, and they're having a big meltdown reaction about it. They're not handling their anger well, but this is what I'm just saying, like a normal response when things are not going your way until you learn how to deal with anger in a healthy way. It is normal to feel frustrated, to feel angry when your kids disobey, when you're not getting things way, when you thought your day was going to go this way and it doesn't go this way. It is a normal human response. I just want to say, there's nothing wrong with you when you feel angry. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just how you handle your anger. Then there's righteous anger, anger towards something or someone who is sinning against God. Like, for example, human trafficking. If that provokes anger, that's actually a good thing because it motivates you to do something about it. People that actually do something about human trafficking is because they felt so angry about this circumstance that it led them to do something about it. Righteous anger is from the Lord, is when we feel anger towards something that God would feel angry towards. It's when other people are being hurt, innocent people are being hurt. That's like a really good example. I do have a couple episodes that I think will be really helpful for you, and I will link them in the show notes. Episode 228. Anger, is it normal? Is your anger normal, or do you need help? Because there is a tipping point where you need support and help with your anger struggle. Because some moms that listen to this podcast, they can just do things on their own. They can listen to this show and learn things and implement them, and they will be okay. And some of you need more support, and that's what that podcast episode is about. Then there's an episode 161, how anger is affecting relationships with your loved ones and what you can do about it. That is actually one of my highest downloaded episodes on the podcast to this day. How your anger is affecting relationships with your loved ones and what you can do about it. And I'll have that linked in the show notes for you. So when does anger become sinful? When does it cross the line? And I would say is when anger turns to rage. Rage is anger on steroids. Rage is explosive anger. Rage is out of control, where you feel completely out of control and you are saying and doing things that are destructive and sinful. You're saying damaging, destructive words. You're saying hurtful things to your children and your spouse. Your tone is very different. It's very damaging. Yelling, screaming, slamming doors, name calling, throwing things, spanking in anger because you're feeling out of control. You're trying to get control back, right? Being really rough, mean to your children, being harsh with them. those things are sinful. You are hurting people that are God's children, and you are hurting them with your words and actions. By doing things that are hurtful to the people that we love the most, we are hurting them as children of God. We are also hurting Jesus in the process too, because Jesus told us to treat others like we would treat Christ, right? Like our brothers and sisters and our spouses and our children, it's like we need to serve them and love them like we would serve and love Jesus. And when we say damaging things like that to them and we say hurtful things and do hurtful things, we damage the safety that our kids would have in the relationship with us and the safety with our husband. Our husband is not going to want to come home if he knows his wife is angry at home waiting for him. Our kids are not going to want to be around us and share their hearts and open their hearts if they are afraid that mom is going to overreact. They're going to want to lie to you more because they're afraid of your reactions. And so your family will not feel safe around you to come to you and share their struggles and open up their heart if you're experiencing rage and you say hurtful and damaging things to them. I want to read a few verses for you from Proverbs on anger. Bible talks a lot about anger, and it talks about how anger correlates with a lot of foolish choices. And again, if you remember, the thinking brain is offline when we're feeling angry. And here's the verses that I wanted to read. Proverbs 14:17, a man of quick temper acts foolishly, which means someone who is reacting. 14:29, whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has hasty temper exalts folly. 15:18, a hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger quiets contention. 29:11, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. 29:22, a man of wrath stirs up strife, and one given to anger causes much transgression, which is sinful actions. So given in to anger, that I would say is when you're feeling rage, you're given in to anger. And when you are venting, full vent, right? When you're fully venting in anger, you will say foolish things that you will regret later on. A hot-tempered man stirs up strife. How many times when we're feeling angry and rage, we say things that we later regret, and it already stirred up so much conflict in our relationships. And a hasty temper exalts folly. We do foolish things when we are quick to temper, when we are quick to anger with our temper. So what leads to rage? That would be helpful to understand, right? So rage is actually the flip side of helplessness. When we feel completely out of control in a circumstance, rage comes out to try to get us some control back, right? To get some control back in the circumstance. So the rage comes out. But the truth is, when we're feeling rage, it is because we feel so helpless in the circumstance. I want to refer back to episode 208. And I'll have it in the show notes, is warning signs that you are going to blow up soon. It is important to recognize when you're getting escalated and be able to stop yourself before you get to rage. Because once you are in rage, it is nearly impossible to stop yourself. Your thinking brain is completely offline. It's like a train going 1,000 miles an hour. Whatever you say, it's nearly impossible to stop yourself. It is really, really hard. That's when you just overspank your kids because you feel so much anger. That's when you destroy things because you feel that much wrath and rage. And you need to recognize when you're getting escalated before you get to the rage. In rage, you are trying to control something that you cannot. It could be other people. It could be their thoughts, feelings, their behavior, the circumstances that are out of your control. All those things are out of your control. And one of the things we work a lot in my program is mindset and how to shift your mindset and letting go of things that are out of your control, because it's all in your thoughts. You're trying to control things that are not for yours to control. The Bible tells us to have self-control, not other control. So when you feel out of control, the stress builds up in your brain, and add all the other stresses that you're dealing with on a regular basis that you don't process in a healthy way. It builds up in your brain, and you get to a point where you feel completely out of control and you're at your wit's end. And that's when rage comes out. So anger in itself is not sinful, because you can feel angry and still make good choices. Yet most of us don't, because we were never modeled or taught how to do that. And we don't know how to calm ourselves down and regulate our nervous system, so then the thinking brain turns back on. Yet I have done and practiced this for a long time. I can feel angry, and I tell this to my clients, it's okay to feel angry, and you can still make a kind choice, even though you feel angry. Anger in itself is not wrong. It's not sinful. It's the choices that we make and the thoughts that we allow to take over our mind that will lead us to feeling out of control rage. And when you feel rage, that is when you make sinful choices. You say and do hurtful things that are damaging and destructive to your relationships. I have this really good training I mentioned for you about lowering your stress levels and how that will increase your capacity levels. I have a training. It's called How to 10X Your Emotional Capacity Levels as a Mom. And you can get it completely free if you leave me a 5-star review and rating on Apple Podcasts, and then take a screenshot of it and email it to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. And I will send you a link and a coupon code to get the training completely for free. Otherwise, you can buy it for $27 if you just scroll down in the show notes. So here are ways to decrease your explosive anger, your rage. First is spending time with God daily. If you want to become more like Jesus, you need to spend time with Jesus on a regular basis. Number 2 is lowering your stress levels proactively so you have more capacity to deal with things when they're not going your way. And that training, How to 10X Your Emotional Capacity Levels, is going to give you practical things that you can do to increase your capacity levels and lower your stress. Number 3 is learning how to shift your negative thoughts, how to take your thoughts captive, recognize negative thoughts that are contributing to more frustration and anger, and how to take them captive and redirect them to thoughts that are empowering and encouraging and life-giving, and making them obedient to Christ. And step 4 is learn positive tools to calm your anger down and recognizing, okay, I'm starting to feel angry. I'm escalated. What do I need right now to help myself calm down and feel better? And just asking yourself, I wonder what's going on, why I'm feeling angry. If it's literally because you're hungry and you haven't eaten anything since morning and it's 3 p.m., well, that's the root of your frustration and anger. Maybe you need to take a snack. And that is why you're feeling so escalated and easily triggered by your kids, okay? My friend, if you're listening to this podcast episode and you found this episode really helpful and you found value in it and you've tried things on your own over and over and over again, and you just cannot seem to get past this anger issue, it just still keeps coming up. It's ruining your relationship with your husband. It's ruining your relationship with your kids. Your kids are repeating the negative things that you're saying and doing, and you want to take action. You're ready for change. You want to start changing starting today. I want to invite you to book a consultation call with me. I still have few spots until the rest of the year to take on some new clients. Christmas is coming up. That's a stressful season. I want you to be supported. This is a wonderful time of the year where your grandparents are asking your parents, in-laws, what do you want for Christmas? How about you say, you know what? If they're going to spend $200 on your gift, you can say, you know what? How about you give that to me, and I want to buy a coaching program that's going to support my family. Maybe this year you spend less on your children's gifts and you invest in yourself and gift them a mom who is happy and enjoys her life, a mom who is calm and patient and peaceful. Maybe this is something that you can do for your kids this year. And instead of buying a ton of gifts for them that are going to create more mess and chaos in your home and contribute to more frustration and anger. If this is something that you want and you're ready to take the next step, in the show notes, there's a button that you can click on that says the link, book a consultation call. Consultation call is completely free. You and I get on the call. I hear about your situation, your story, what's going on, help you understand a little bit what the issues are. And if I feel like my program, my 12-week Calm Christian Mom Coaching Program is a good fit for you in this season in life, I will invite you to enroll and you get to decide if this is the next step that you want to take. I will be raising prices in the new year. So if you want to be able to get the current price that I have on right now, this is your chance. This is your chance to invest in yourself, because investing in you is investing in your family. You have nothing to lose, my friend. I have payment plans. You can take out a loan that I partner with FlexBuy where you can take out a personal loan. You get to invest in your family. I have 100% money back guarantee. If you do the work, you show up, and you do not see positive changes in your life, I will give you 100% money back. My friend, if this is something that's calling your name, if it's resonating with you and you're ready to take the next step, book a consultation call with me. I would love to connect with you and talk about how I can support you on this journey. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.